Well, the market's rough ride has some investors wondering, is it time to switch or even ditch your investment strategy? For more on that and the rest of This Week in Business, including inflation numbers out today, we turn to our financial commentator, Patty Levitt-Reid. Good morning, Patty.
Hi, Anne-Marie. Good morning.
We are waiting on the inflation data that's coming out this morning. The Bank of Canada's third quarter business report showing consumers and companies alike are keeping expectations low. What are you expecting?
Well, I am expecting to see a better read on inflation than the 7%. But to your point, the Business Outlook survey had both consumers and businesses not very optimistic. In fact, Scotiabank came out on record saying that they expect to see a recession, which, by the way, is defined by two consecutive months of negative growth within the next 12 months. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that central banks, sure, they have been raising rate to combat this inflation, but many are saying they just didn't do it fast enough. And so there's this uncertainty out there. And when it comes to inflation, sure, it may tick lower, but things are costing us a lot of money. And sometimes consumers are sort of saying to themselves, are businesses sort of inflating their prices because they can right now, because everyone's saying, well, they should be higher, so I expect to pay more. Many businesses would argue that they're not, they're passing along the cost, but you can see this push-pull.
Yeah, absolutely. We see a lot of interest in stories about greedflation lately. We talked about investing off the top. Tell us why it's not all bad news when it comes to investing right now.
I don't know. Did you see Netflix numbers last evening? Blew through expectations. Corporate earnings have been holding their own. You know, when you look at the markets, yes, you want to have a cautious tone. I read a report yesterday, Anne-Marie, from Bank of America, and they're saying between maybe now and Christmas, capitulation. This is when that last retail investor throws in the towel because they don't want this volatility, and they move to the sidelines. And guess what happens in the new year? We see a bit of a bump. And what happens is those institutional investors go in and start to buy things up. So yes, proceed with caution. Here's what we're dealing with, Anne-Marie. We had bonds that went down this year. We have stocks that went down. It has everything to do with the rising interest rate environment. But rates are headed higher. The Bank of Canada has an interest rate announcement on October 26th, at least 50 basis points higher. Bonds are doing better. This is why you need a balanced portfolio. I am hanging in there. Steady as she goes, good quality, hang on to those leaders in their industry.
You mentioned Christmas and holidays, and Deloitte put out their holiday retail outlook. And this could, you know what, this could be a bit of a marker as well, Patty. We were talking about things getting more expensive, people watching their money. Here's what Deloitte said. They found Canadians plan to spend on average around $1,500 this holiday season, and that's down 17% from last year. 1 in 3 people say they're planning to shop earlier. Most of those people feel like early bird shopping is going to get them a better deal. Do you think we'll see the spending slowdown affect maybe Halloween as well?
Well, you know, it's interesting when you think about Halloween, people want to spend, but it's not as big a spend. The average spend is, according to Hello Safe, is $1.64 billion this year. Big, big business. People spend about $41 on a costume. That's $730 more, by the way, than they spent on Halloween, or less than they spent on Halloween last year. So families are having this conversation. How do you pull back responsibly? How can you still celebrate? No one wants anyone to go into debt over any of these holidays. And, you know, share costumes in your family if you can. You get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, listen, ask around, borrow costumes, see what you can do, make some at home. That's what we used to do in the 80s. Anyway, thanks for this, Patty.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.